10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Blonde Blitz. I'm your co-host, Deb Whitkiss. I'd like to start off with welcoming my other half here at the Blonde Blitz, my partner in blonde crime and the queen of fantasy football, Miss Nikki Gist.
Hi. Hi, Deb. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I'm better than I was Sunday.
Right. I was going to say, oh, the poor Giants.
Wah, so bad.
We were texting and I felt bad. But honestly, Eagles won, but didn't do so great either. So we will discuss that for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We absolutely will. But, we're here week 1. We're at episode 3. And Blonde Blitz is brought to you by, of course, Underdog Fantasy, where we will give you $100 off your first bet. So use code BLONDE and play with some house money. Might as well, right?
Absolutely. So we've got a great show for you guys today. We've got AC Caswell coming up from the Raiders. It's kind of the new, people are saying it's the new era of the Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo here. Derek Carr is out. So AC will talk about his time with the Raiders as well as his thoughts on the coming season with them.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I know.
To talk to him. I heard, is it true he's a Cowboys fan, though?
You know what? He's got a really funny story about that, and we'll talk about that, too. Because
torturing myself for 2 weeks in a row with this.
I know.
Because we had George Teat last week, and he's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, and then we'll also talk about AFC, NFC Players of the Week. We'll get some fantasy football in there, and, of course, we have our pick'ems as well, which is going to help us out with. So shall we begin?
For you guys. Yes, let's do it.
We'll start off with AFC, NFC Players of the Week.
Okay.
So with AFC on the offense, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, one of my favorites, I'm going to be honest. 466 passing yards, 3 TD passes, 110 passer rating. 4th most pass yards ever in a season opening game. So Tua killed it there. On defense, safety Jordan Whitehead. He's the first player with 3 interceptions in week 1 since 2001. And he's the first Jets player with 3 interceptions in a single game since 2000. On special teams, we've got Xavier Gibson. I will talk about him later because he's one of my. This is pretty much my favorite player of the entire week. I mean, how can not? With his game-winning 65-yard punt return touchdown, it's the 3rd overtime punt return touchdown in NFL history. Moving to the NFC, we've got wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. Am I saying that correctly? Ayuk. He has got 8 receptions, 129 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns there. He is the only NFL wide receiver with 100-yard receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns in week 1. We've got on defense from the Atlanta Falcons, defense safety Jesse Bates. 10 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. He is the first player since 2000 with 10 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble in a single game. And finally, my guy, special teams from the Eagles, Jake Elliott, which I actually have a funny Jake Elliott story. He made 4 out of 4 field goals. They were beautiful. He's the only kicker with 2 made 50-yard field goals in week 1. So
great. I'm so happy for you. I'm just so thrilled.
It's funny. I thought I saw Jake Elliott one time at a gifting suite. It was a player's gifting suite. And I was like, Jake. It turned out it was Kyle Allen.
Oh, really?
So I was so excited. I was excited to talk to Kyle as well, but I was excited because I thought it was Jake Elliott.
That's fine.
Kyle Allen, totally different team, totally different position.
Oh well.
So we have our next segment. We kind of added it this week. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes. So we are doing a new segment called 3 Up, 3 Down. So we're going to talk about it could be players, moments of the week. So 3 stocks on the rise, 3 on the down, or moments that we weren't so happy with. So Deb, you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
Should we start with the up or the down?
I started mine with the up.
Okay, so we'll start on a happy note, I guess, because I think everyone can figure out what my down was going to be.
Yeah.
But I really liked the Patriots defense this week. And we talked about it last week. We said they were going to be tough. And, the Eagles can't just think it's going to be a cakewalk. And clearly it wasn't. I know week 1 is sloppy for a lot of teams. We kind of saw that. But we both agreed, and even George Teague agreed, that the Patriots defense was going to be pretty tough. They were stingy. They limited you guys to 251 yards. So I was happy to see that, since they don't have much going on in offense. So I was happy to see their defense is on the up like we thought it would be.
Right. And I'm going to say my first choice was the play from Garrett Wilson. I actually have 2 Jets in my ups. Jets star wide receiver Garrett Wilson. He made an unreal grab on a pass from Zach Wilson on Monday night against the Bills for a touchdown. That's what tied the game.
I am going to go to your Chargers for my next one.
All right.
Because I think their run defense got a lot better. If I remember correctly, they were either the last ranked run defense last season or damn near in the bottom. So I think, say hello week 1 here. They limited the Dolphins to 70 yards at 3.5 yards per carry. So I would say from where they were last season to what we saw week 1, that was a nice improvement. Looks like they're on the up there.
Awesome. My second one, I said it before, Xavier Gibson, that 65-yard walk-off punt return to win the game against the Bills in overtime. Does it get better than that play?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
I mean, and he went unchosen in April's draft. He earned his way on the roster. They were possibly going to cut him, but his game-changing skills were special teams, and he obviously just showed it. And it's actually funny because my TV turned off right before the play. It rewound to like the second quarter or something. And I literally like watching with a friend. I'm like, what just happened? And we had to turn on our phones to watch the end play. So I missed it when it first happened.
So you had to go back and
the best play of the entire week, maybe almost the season. And to win in overtime. Anyway, it's just my luck.
On that note, this isn't my third one, but I did take the Jets to win, and somebody called me an idiot for that. And I was like, now who's the idiot, right? Like,
right? I was,
mess with the queen of fantasy and betting, okay? Like, gosh, when are you guys going to learn?
She is the queen, fellas.
Yes, thank you. I just don't understand. But to just be, it's funny, Joe Madden Sports, right? She also took the Jets. And somebody called her an idiot too. And I'm like,
I'd stop it with the idiots, guys.
We're not idiots.
The ladies we're talking about.
I know. So my third one is my first fantasy love ever. Matt Stafford, welcome back to the NFL. Okay. He said he felt healthy, and he certainly played. Yes, he certainly played like he was feeling healthy. He spread the ball around, I think 5 different players were able to get the ball. He went 24 of 38, 334 yards. So, welcome back. That was nice to see, because I usually ride very high on Matt Stafford. And last season was not so great.
Yeah, he didn't do so great last season. Well, and I have to talk about CMC.
Yeah.
He's always a fave. Was great to see him out on that field, zigging and zagging like he normally was. He spent a lot of time, on IR over the past couple of years. So it's great to see him back, and he's healthy. And I think he's set for this to be his best season yet.
Yeah.
He dived into the end zone for a 65-yard touchdown to make it 27-7 with 14:02 left in the third quarter against the Steelers. So, they obviously won that game, and it was one of my favorite games of the week as well. He was nominated for the FedEx Ground Player of the Week of Week 1 too. So, yay for CMC! We're back.
Yeah, yay for CMC. Yeah, not so yay for the Steelers, and that's actually a great lead-in because one of my downs is Kenny Pickett. So that was rough, right? I know the Niners are one of the best defenses in the league. I totally get it. But
by the way, we have them in fantasy. By the way, do you know that?
What?
I picked for our Blonde Blitz for our fantasy league.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we have the Steelers for defense. I thought that was a really good pick.
That's funny. But I thought Pickett was like throwing high and wasn't very accurate. So I think he threw 2 interceptions, right? I mean, I'm kind of side-eyeing the accuracy issues here a little bit, but I'm keeping in mind that was against a 49ers defense that is really, really good. However, one of my downs for the week is the Steelers as a whole. Not a great game for them.
Yep, absolutely. And my number one, obviously, just going to say it because we can't do a podcast without this note. Aaron Rodgers out on the 4th play, tears his Achilles. I mean, wow. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan by any means, but the team, I feel horrible for the team. They won, obviously, but it was just heartbreaking to see him go down on the 4th play.
I think I saw somebody say that it was 72 seconds.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that kind of brings up, and we don't have to go off on this tangent if we don't want to.
Can.
But, I mean, could it be the end for him? I mean, he's what, 38? Is he going to come back from this?
I don't know. Look, you look at Tom Brady, right? I mean,
exactly.
He's 44, 45, whatever. But I mean,
I call him to come in too.
Could you imagine? I saw somebody say they're going to call Ben Roethlisberger in. Like, I mean, what's next? Peyton Manning? Like, stop, everybody. Just stop. But I just think naturally, I mean, you get to a point, maybe your body just, you're not 25 anymore. Things take a little bit longer to heal. I don't think he's going to retire, but you don't know how recovery is going to go. But damn, MetLife is cursed. I'm sorry. MetLife is cursed. And they just got new turf in there. We have been, I'm like owner of the Jets and the Giants. I mean, but the fan bases have been complaining for years. They changed the turf and this is still, look what happens. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was shocking. I just can't believe that MetLife is this curse no matter what they do. It's just in the Achilles, they're tearing all Achilles everywhere. It's crazy to me. I don't get it.
And one of my friends actually said that about the turf. They were like, they need to get that turf redone. And I was like, I think they just redid it. So
redid it. Just like in the spring.
And also too, I mean, Zach Wilson obviously stepped up, but he did some, and we can talk about this later too, but some Zach Wilson things like, do they just get another quarterback? Do they stick with Wilson or do they go into free agency?
I think you have to get another quarterback.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would. I think
Wentz is available.
Is that any better?
I don't know.
I don't think Wentz is any better. You kind of bring up a good point, though. If you've got, Zach Wilson, Carson Wentz, I mean,
Cam Newton.
I actually probably, who would you roll with? I think I might lean to Wilson.
Oh, I don't know. I might too. I like Cam Newton too, but he's passed.
I love Cam Newton, but
that's a whole other thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
What about, did you see that Colin Kaepernick's reached out, his agent or his team has reached out to the Jets?
I would go there.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't played, I think Colin is kept in shape. I know he's had a good couple of looks, a couple of practices. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But I mean, he hasn't played in 6 years?
Yeah, it's true.
6, 7? So then are you like Kaepernick or Wentz? And then, I mean, I don't know. I I guess Wilson, because he was already there last season. I know he kind of screwed up the locker room, but it's something, right? I mean, the team's kind of used to him. But I do think that you do need to go and get, another quarterback. So we'll see. I really feel for Jets fans. And just as a fan of the game, I was excited to see Rodgers.
So was I. Absolutely.
Play. And
I was excited to see him with the Jets and to see what they can do, because I do think he has some great weapons around him, and I was excited to see what it would bring.
Yes,
so I'm bummed.
I know. I think we all are. I don't really care for him as a person, but as a quarterback, as a fan of just watching the NFL for all these years, I wanted to see what he was going to be able to do. My second down was the Bengals. If you guys have watched me long enough, everybody knows I'm a Giants fan, but my second favorite team, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Oh God, that was rough. I know that he was, he's coming off that calf injury. I know it was wet. It was disgusting. It was gross for a lot of teams. I know it's week 1. But that offense to me looked like they didn't take a single rep together in preseason. And maybe they, maybe they didn't.
They kind of didn't. Yeah.
They didn't. And it showed. So I'm hoping they bounce back this week. But this was just, I hated to see this. I really did.
Right. And it was hard. And to be honest, this was my second one as well. I mean, and Burrow just signed this $275 million deal. He's the highest paid player in the NFL, and he goes out there and gives that performance. But again, like you said, his ankle has been an issue the entire season. And I think they will bounce back. He even said in the presser, guys, stop freaking out. It's one game.
Right.
So I agree. It's one game. Granted, history has told us if a team doesn't win the first game, they usually don't win a Super Bowl. But we'll forget. We said that a couple of weeks ago.
We did. But we're just going to throw that stat out because
it's gone.
We don't need it. Of course, my number one was the absolute massive meltdown at the Meadowlands. I actually, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that picture. If that's not really heartbreaking, actually, whether you're a fan of the Giants, they're an in-division rival, whether you like Jones or not, I think just to see a player, just see a quarterback kind of go through that and just capture that emotion, that's kind of tough. That actually broke my heart a little bit to watch, but I was really heartbroken on Sunday night, like most of Giants Nation. That was, I even named my article for JSN, One Giant Meltdown. It looked great. First couple minutes, Barkley was looking great. Offense was looking good. And, just get that couple of series of unfortunate events there. You get the, holding call and then a blocked. It was so many things that
it was
went
just
wrong.
One after the other. Yeah.
It was truly that game that anything that could have went wrong just went wrong.
And Dallas played a great game. Their defense is amazing, and I'm a little scared. NFC East. As an Eagles fan, I'm a little scared of Dallas at the moment. Not scared of the Giants.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I was wondering when Deb was going to go after me, and I guess it's now. I guess it's great. She waited 3 weeks. No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't be scared of them either. But I do think they bounce back. I can't see them completely go on a downward spiral here. But
they're not this. I mean, they looked bad, but I don't think they're this bad of a team.
Yeah. And so just so everybody knows, and I see Rio's in the room with us in the chat, and thanks so much for dropping by. It was on his panel last week. And if you guys saw me lose my shit and yell at the Cowboys rep about them complaining that Dallas doesn't have talent, look at Sunday night. And that made my point for me. So I don't want to hear that Cowboys don't have talent. Right. I mean, we just saw them have massive talent. So I don't understand. That defense is something serious. So I don't want to hear it anymore. And if you want to come at me, because I'll yell bullshit at whoever else too.
And that was a great social media moment. Nikki's freaking out and yelling bullshit. So I have the Giants as my number 3 as well. And you know me and my stats, have to have stats for everything. So a little stat about that game: no team has ever, number 1, lost 40-0 or worse, lost the sack battle 7-0 or worse, lost the turnover battle 3-0 or worse, had a blocked field goal returned for a touchdown, and threw a pick 6 in the same season. Okay, the Giants did it all in one game.
Deb, like, you could have texted me and said, Nikki, put like hard alcohol in your tumbler today, because
I almost did.
I'm gonna kill you and keep just digging the knife in, and we're just gonna do that for the first 20 minutes of the show.
Sorry, I had to. No.
But you bring it up. And that's why I said anything that could have went wrong wrong on Sunday, and you just you just had to let the audience know. I just can't. It was bad, but we're everybody's gonna bounce back, I think.
Yeah. So Nikki, who do you have? Let's get into a little bit of fantasy here. Mm-hmm. Who do you have for your starts and sits this week? I'm dying to know.
Okay, so I usually am not a Jared Goff fan, but I am riding high on Jared Goff. Admittedly, I haven't loved him for a very long time. But this week he's up against the Seahawks defense, and they just allowed, like I said, Matt Stafford to throw for 334 yards. And if you watch our prediction show, I did say that I thought the Seahawks and Geno Smith were going to take a bit of a step back. So we'll see what happens there. But if I'm right, that I have that clip ready, because I am petty. So I also really like Calvin Ridley. That was something else we talked about on our prediction show, and something else I talked about all summer and a couple other shows. Welcome back. He had, 8 catches for 101 yards, 1 TD, and he was targeted 11 times. He's the clear number 1 for the Jags. So Calvin Ridley is a must start. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk, right? I think he is quickly becoming Brock Purdy's favorite target. I think that's apparent. And let's see. Siddums, Geno Smith did not have a great game.
And you called that.
Yes.
Ago. You were like, everybody obviously is happy for Geno Smith, that he did so well last season. But you said, I don't think this is going to be his season.
No, I don't. And you know why? That's karma for winning comeback player of the year when you took it away from Saquon, because you came back from nothing but the bench. See, this is what happens. This is the football karma coming back to bite you. No. Until Geno Smith can do a little bit more, he would be riding the bench for me. So he's a sit for me this week. Raheem Mostert didn't really have like a stellar debut. So I don't think he's going to in week 2 either. And Tyler Higbee, he didn't have a great game, and they're up against the Niners. So I don't anticipate that he will continue. He'll continue having a horrible game.
All right. Well, and also too, just so you know, you'll have some more players that you can talk about start and sits with, and more fantasy players. I just got a press release from NFL, and they're expanding their practice squad of all 32 teams, including an international pathway player in 2024. So we're going to have even more players to talk about.
Oh, all right. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a fan of the International Pathway Program.
Yes.
It started in 2017. 37 international players have signed in some way with NFL teams. There are currently 19 athletes on NFL rosters right now, with 5 of those players on the active roster. So Jordan Mulatto, obviously from Australia, Philadelphia Eagles, Effie Abada from the UK, Washington Commanders, Jacob Johnson from Germany, the Las Vegas Raiders, Sammy Rees from Chile, Washington Commanders, David Bada from Germany, also Washington Commanders. So I'm excited to see that expansion. There's more guys you can talk about.
That's awesome. Good for them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I think I'm not sure if AC. I think AC is running a little bit late. So shall we move to the pick'ems and he can join as we're talking about them?
Yeah, I guess. Hey, he's late to the party, then he's late. What is it? You snooze, you lose. Is that the right saying?
We love AC. But...
Love AC, I guess. I hear you're a Cowboys fan, so I don't know how much love I have for you. But I know he's doing great things for charity, so I'm eager to hear about that. I just don't want to hear about any Cowboys talk.
It's really a funny story, and I can't wait for him to tell it about the Cowboys, his team. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll wait. Let's go, AC. Jump in the room here. But yeah, I guess let's jump into our picks.
Shall we bring the house?
Bring the house, Deb.
Great. So the first. All right. So Thursday night football. Vikings versus my Eagles. So go ahead. We'll start with you first.
Oh, okay. No, I so bad want to take the Vikings. I really, really do. I can't do it. Right. Okay. So it's prime time. We all know how Kirk Cousins is in a primetime game, and he played really messy last week. But again, you just got to keep in mind week 1 is just a slop fest all around, really, for most of the teams. And it's at Philly, right?
It absolutely is.
Okay, that's a really tough place to play in prime time. I'm sorry, to the Vikings fans. You're not going to take this one. I don't love it for Minnesota. I really don't. I've got Philly winning and covering. I've got it 27-17.
All right. So I was worried before about the Eagles with their Super Bowl hangover.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of happened, kind of didn't. Obviously, they still won the game, but it was. I held my breath for a while there. Jalen Hurts didn't look so great. Only 170 yards passing, a fumble that nearly cost the game. But winning is winning, so it's a win, and we're going to take it. I think the first couple of minutes, the Eagles looked great, looked like the Super Bowl team, and then it just kind of went down from there. I feel like the offense is still getting used to the new offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson. The first team didn't get a lot of snaps in the a lot of game action in the preseason. I think maybe that had something to do with it. And also they didn't throw the ball to Goddard at all.
They didn't.
Literally footage of him going like this, like jumping up and down, like throw me the ball. So he had 6 catches for 60 yards in the Super Bowl, and he was only targeted once. So we'll see. But I think it definitely needs to. Last year he had 5 catches for 82 yards. Last year at the Minnesota game, I was at that game. It was electric. I'm a little worried that the Dean is missing a couple of games. He's injured. He's an injured foot. And also James Bradbury's in concussion protocol. But I do think the Eagles will win this game. It's going to be at the Link. A win is a win last week, and the fans, it's going to be an amazing, primetime game. Like you said, Cousins is Cousins in primetime. We all know that.
Yeah.
He wasn't great last week at all. He gave up the ball 3 times. Justin Jefferson gave it a good go, but the offense just looked rusty in general. So I'm saying I think they will win as well. Eagles will cover. I'm saying 27. Eagles 27, Vikings 19.
Okay.
What did you say? Eagles?
I have it 27-17.
Okay, so we're close.
We're close. Right. That's because blondes know ball.
Exactly.
And we're not idiots.
I love it. So tell us idiots. All right, moving on to the Raiders and Bills game. I can take this one?
Yeah.
All right. So the Raiders are leading the AFC West right now. Nobody expected it. They were the only AFC West team with a win last year. I'm sorry, last week.
Last year.
Where did that come from? I love Jimmy G, I feel like Derek Carr didn't fit in, even though he was at the Raiders for 9 years. I feel like Jimmy G he's underrated. He always makes it work. He made it work in San Francisco too. He's got some great weapons around him. Jacoby Myers and him connected for 2 touchdowns during the Broncos game. Devontae Adams, obviously still there. He was covered for most of that game, so he didn't get a lot of play. But, I think maybe he will this game. Nate Hobbs looked great on defense. Mm-hmm. So, he had 2 key tackles, 6 total. Yeah, and to talk about AC, AC knows I love the Raiders. I never grew out of that, bad boy personality thing. To be honest. So, the Raiders, I don't know, the black and the silver, I want them to win, but they're playing the Bills. Let's be honest. And the Bills are obviously coming off a soul crushing Monday night loss to the Giants. Yes. Once Aaron went down, I thought they had it, but Josh Allen turned over the ball 4 times. So he for this game coming up, he needs to get out of his own way. And I think the Bills will rebound in general. I think the Bills are favored by 9.5 in this game. I think it's actually going to be a closer game than that, though. The Raiders are traveling, so I'm going to go Bills 25, Raiders 21.
Oh, okay. I think, yes, the Bills are playing on a short week, but I think they're pissed. And that's not going to bode well for the Raiders. The Bills are very unforgiving to opposing quarterbacks, especially on their turf. I think they're going to bounce back big time. I think Josh Allen, I think we're talking 3 TDs, 340 yards. I don't think they're messing around this time. I got the Bills winning and covering. I got it 33-23.
Okay. All right. At least we both have them winning. So.
Yes.
And next we've got the Chargers Titans. What do you got?
Interesting here, right? Because Chargers, they didn't have the best defensive showing. I know I put them on my up, but it wasn't the best defensive showing we've ever seen. Titans didn't have the best offensive showing that we've seen. So it's what are we going to get here? But I do think the Chargers defense is going to progressively get better. And I think they're going to play a little bit better more and more.
And if not, Staley's losing his job. So
he would have to at this point. He would absolutely have to. And actually, we can kind of maybe segue into that because I feel to talk about a hot seat in week 2 is it's crazy. But if they don't improve, to your point, I don't know how many chances he gets.
Yeah. I think it's almost a ticking. The clock is ticking for both of them.
Yeah, I think so. He doesn't make the greatest in-game decisions either.
Yeah. Well, and the fans they're already calling for him to get fired. So that's bad in week 1 when all of the Charger fans, not all of them, I shouldn't say all of them, when the fans are, it's funny because one of my bosses is a huge Chargers fan and he texted me after the game. He's like, Staley needs to go.
Oh my God.
And he was so mad. And then he was talking about it the next day too. So
oh my God.
Chargers fans are heated.
Well, but I get it because he's had a history of just really bad decisions. I got that a lot from Giants Nation this week that Brian Dable should be fired. Let's just.
Oh no, I don't know about all that. Brian Dable did a ton for the Giants last season. It was just a bad game. It was, it was raining. A bad game. And one thing after another. They need to improve for sure, but Brian Dable shouldn't be losing his job.
Well, fans can be crazy, but I'm with you on the Chargers fans. I get their frustration, but the Titans don't have a great offensive line. So I do think the defense will be the difference here. I think they're going to create a few turnovers and Herbert's going to be able to capitalize. It is, I have Chargers winning 25-17. So I have them covering as well.
All right. And I have something similar. So that's funny. I think the Chargers versus the Dolphins last week was the only game that was really NFL football. And you and I kind of talked about that already. We kind of texted, it was back and forth. It looked polished. It was a high scoring game though, which I was actually shocked about, Yes. But yeah, I think kind of watch out for this Chargers team though. I like what Kellen Moore did. I think he's already shown what he can do in improving from last season. Eckler looked good. He ran for 117 yards and a touchdown. Joshua Kelly, 91 yards and a score. The offense is strong. I think the defense obviously is an issue. We just talked about it, so we won't go into the detail there. With the Titans, I mean, Tannehill looked horrible. I was ready for Will Levis to come in there. Henry looked great. But yeah, I mean, I think Chargers are favored by 3 points. I think it's Chargers 29, Titans 15.
Yeah, I'm just not a Ryan Tannehill fan at all. I haven't been, and I just like, when are we moving on? But AC's here, so let's bring AC in. He shows up just in time to pick the Jets-Cowboys game. Now, what kind of coincidence is this?
Wow. Come on, guys. No. I don't even want to get into it, man. That's just first of all, thank you for having me on your show. It's lovely to see you ladies. Congratulations on all that's going. I know Deb personally, so she makes it happen. So to see you guys, man, that's amazing. We're definitely here to support you any way that we can.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to meet you. We've chatted a little bit on IG, but we haven't been able to do a show together. So it's nice to meet you. And I appreciate you coming on. But Deb, you said I got to hear the story.
Okay, so AC, we'll talk a little bit more. We'll do a little interview about your past experience with the Raiders. But I remember a story about you telling me that you were a Cowboys fan when you first started to play football, but yet you're playing for the Raiders, and there was a little bit of a problem, or the players had a little bit of problem with that. Can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. So that's why I chuckled when you said Cowboys. So I grew up obviously in California, LA, and I was a diehard Cowboy fan. Everything, my bike, my room, just Cowboys. You couldn't tell me nothing about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, when they played, I played. When Tony Dorsett ran that touchdown back, I ran it with them. I mean, I knew that of all hearts of hearts, if I ever made it to the league, I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. So it's so funny. I made it into the league, obviously, and my rookie day, first day at work on the job, and I walked into the locker room, and obviously I wasn't crazy enough to have the star, but I walked in with the Dallas Cowboys colors, and before I even made it to my locker, I got picked up and slammed, punched, kicked, and said, "Listen, guy. Don't you ever walk into this locker room disrespecting this organization by wearing anybody else's colors than silver and black Raider Nation. We don't play that around here." So I thought I was over and done with it. I thought maybe at the worst, Nikki, I was going to get, like any rookie, I was going to have to, carry somebody's luggage. And even though I bought the donuts for the whole year, not just for the receivers, the whole team and the coaches, right?
Oh, damn.
So I thought we were done. And then I go to get my first paycheck on Monday as we get paid, and I'm missing like at least $4,000 or $5,000. I'm thinking I'm in a new tax bracket. I'm like, I got to know how to budget my finances for the year. And they said, "No, you've been fine. Don't you ever disrespect this organization. Don't ever." I said, man, my love for the Cowboys went out the window quickly.
Okay.
And we done with the big star. So that was the end of that,
Wow. That's a good story, though.
Right. So, hey, AC, let's talk a little bit about your time with the Raiders. I know you had an unusual path to play with them. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, definitely my role was a little bit different. And I apologize. My phone was ringing. I'm trying to get everybody to stop calling me.
But, my dog is barking.
Just a free-for-all here. It's all right.
But to make it a short story, it's funny now because I own a sports agency. So I tell these guys about climbing up that ladder. Don't give up on your dreams. I'm a real example of that. I think Deb and I talked that I may be one of two, maybe probably the only player in NFL history that took my journey to get into the NFL, from right out of junior college, from track and field, football, Arena League, semi-pro, Canadian Football League, XFL, World League. I mean, I did it all to get into the league. And, it made me appreciate the game for sure. It was a journey. I mean, a struggle, a journey. A lot of the naysayers, hey, you're not going to make it. You didn't get drafted. I would have got drafted just off of my speed alone because I was running 4.2s, 4.28, 4.27s.
Right.
So I would have got drafted just off of speed alone. But yeah, it was a tough journey for sure to get to the NFL.
I feel like that's for anything in life, right? Anybody that, I relate to that on the business end, going off of my own, starting my own marketing company, people telling you can't do it, you won't succeed, or even doing this, I've been doing this a long time, 3 years. And, people just like to say, oh, women in sports, you don't know what you're doing and you can't do it. And it almost kind of fuels you. Do you find that like the naysayers kind of fuel you to push harder, work a little harder?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For me, I carry it over in my regular life. I'm a competitor by nature, so that motivates me. It's a different game mentally and psychologically. The kids are taught differently. Like they don't look at that as motivation because they're really sensitive. Like being honest with you, like you hear Deion Sanders talk about, "Hey guys, this is a job." Okay. Oh, how cute. And I came out of that.
Part of the interview.
I know, right? I love it. We got to get that. We got to get the Raider logo on it, though. So for me, I thrive off of that. When people said, "Hey, you suck. You're not gonna make it," the odds are stacked against you. I thrive. Like for me, that motivated me.
Yeah.
And today's game is a lot different. These kids, these athletes, man. If it doesn't go perfectly, if people are not lifting them up and tell them, "Oh man, you right. You should have made it," or "This should have." So I come from a different cloth. I'm about, hey, I'm a fight. I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna show my naysayers wrong. I'm gonna make the bandwagoners, support me. And people say, well, why do you love the bandwagoners? I said, man, those are my buyers. When they thought that I couldn't make it, who you think buying my merchandise and who you think supporting me? Those same bandwagoners that didn't believe in me. Hey, they jumped on the bandwagon when I balled out, and I showed people that I can make it in the league. I still embrace those guys. Said, hey, I'm not mad at you. Go buy my jersey. Go support me. So I'm a different cloth. I hate to see these players today. They're just too soft, man.
Well, and I know Al Davis supported you, the head, the former owner of the Raiders as well. What did he teach you? He was sort of your mentor.
He was. I told my story. It's no secret. Growing up in South Central LA, very hard part of the town, and I didn't have a biological father in my life, and I wasn't one of those woe is me, right? So for me, having that true mentor, and it was hard to have that. So when I got into the league, Al Davis, and as you know, he's from Brooklyn, New York, and he lets you know that I'm a New York guy, and he taught me, said, hey, I'm going to mentor you, I'm going to coach you, I'm everything to you. I'm going to teach you what it's all about, the fight, the grind, the hustle. I'm going to teach you how to be not just an athlete, but a businessman, and show you how to market and show you how to brand and show you what it means to be a branded athlete. And that's what a lot of guys didn't have that opportunity, and they didn't realize that. So Al really took me under his wing. And when I really say this, like a lot of people don't know this, but I started one of my first businesses in sportswear, and he started letting me manufacture his uniform, his sweatsuits. And just working with me as a businessman, inviting me to corporate meetings after the games. And Dad, we talked about this after the games, and a lot of guys, including myself the first year or two, we were out running to Will Smith's parties and going to Bruce Willis's parties and Halle Berry and just all about Hollywood. And I had a couple of injuries, and Al said, well, hey, come to some of the corporate parties that are our sponsors and meet these guys. They're in awe of you. They want to know who you are, and you got to hear their stories, that, hey, when they were a doctor in 8th grade, broke his toe, and he was going to turn pro. Like, okay, I got you. But he was really a mentor to me, and to this day, I carry his spirit in everything that I do. As an entrepreneur, as a fighter, as a visionary, he meant a lot to me.
It's important to have a mentor, right? Just in life, I feel like, it's just important to have that person who's willing to take you under their wing. And it's important to help other people too, right? I learned a long time ago, you're really only as successful as the people around you and that you're willing to help. And, Deb comes to mind right away because she's probably one of the most open, helpful people that, like you said, AC, she makes it happen. You go to her for something and she'll make it happen. I want to just go back to, you talked about how the game is such a mental game. I want to ask you, Did you watch the Giants-Cowboys game on Sunday night?
I did.
How do you as a player, because I am a fan of that team, but I also cover it for media as well. So, I got to put my professional reporter hat on. You got to look at that objectively. But as a player, when you have a game like that where everything has gone wrong that could possibly go wrong, how do you mentally overcome that and say, okay, I'm moving on to the next week? Because that wasn't just like, oh, you know what? There are a couple of miscues. We know what to do. That was the entire game was horrible. You didn't score any points, and you're just mentally, I feel like the negativity is piling in. How do you overcome that?
Well, obviously, it's some internal things going on bigger than just the game and the players, obviously. But as players, we always remind ourselves that, we're professionals. This is our job, win or lose. We were taught that from youth football. Now you're gonna dig deep on Monday. Trust me, when you come together as team meeting and you're looking at the films. And this is a time not to point fingers, because it is the first game. We're dealing with different times. Less preseason games. Start not really playing. So if you look at the first week of all the games, it's been a lot of unusual things because starters not really playing as much, So this first week is kind of like that last preseason game with starters, and you're trying to figure out, how do we gel? Yes, it was a beatdown. Don't get me wrong. We were all shocked and surprised, but I think the biggest test now is, like anything else, making your adjustments. And coming into this next game is going to really be able to tell what type of team you are. You got to let this one go and say, hey, man, we got some issues. How do we clean it up? Now, if we come to next week and get beat down and lose, we got some serious problems. But as players, this is our job. We're gonna lift each other up. We're going to say, we can motivate us to say, guys, we're going to do better next week. Yeah, we took this loss. That's the cycle part, the mental part. And psychologically, that's the part you want to see in your players, that, hey, this is big on a paycheck. You shouldn't be happy about this game like, oh, I still got my paycheck coming on Monday. Some guys think that way. This is about making your adjustments, coming together as a team, swallowing your pride and like, hey, you know what? We got some issues. We got some problems. Let's correct it. And come next week, we should show a whole different performance. And if this happen again, it's going to be some cuts. It's going to be some players getting out of here.
Yep. Yeah. Well, on the other side of it, the Raiders won last week. They won 17-16, played the Broncos. Some people are saying it's the new era for the Raiders. Derek Carr's out after 9 years. Jimmy Garoppolo's in. What are your thoughts for the Raiders for the season?
I was really impressed. We all know it's. I won't get into too much so I don't get in trouble. But
you don't want to get fined again.
I got to get real on y'all show so we get the ratings up, man.
Yeah.
We've never been a big fan of the head coach. I'm not going to even say his name, okay? And he actually coached me when I was in New England, okay? He was my offensive coordinator when I got traded. But we love what we're doing. We love the talent on special teams, both sides of the ball. Jimmy G, we was a little bit scared because of the injury prone. But as you guys know, he stepped up and he showed the team that, guys, I got you. And I think that if we can keep that type of momentum and build off of what we're really working with, we're a good team. We're a good team. And this win here, a rival game like this, it can either hurt you or break you. And thank God we were on the winning side to let it be motivation for moving forward.
I like Jimmy G. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to fit well there.
He's a winner. I mean, you look at him at the end of the day, he's a winner.
Yes.
And I think, the Raiders, we need that type of leadership. We need that type of athlete that's going to step up and say, hey, guys, I got you. And what he did, people don't realize what he did in that game. It can turn the whole franchise around to being believers, because we needed that. And we need to see that from him.
Right. Yeah, I think that was the important, that the team needed to see that from him, especially.
We did it on a away game, to cut you off, but we did it on the road, so that's even better.
Well, I just think he gets a lot of criticism thrown his way, and I get the injury concerns with him, but I think he's a good quarterback, and I think he's going to do well over there in Raider Nation. I hope so for you guys. So,
I agree.
As long as we don't get caught with the Hollywood status again with all the ladies and this and that, it takes us. We need Jimmy G to be Jimmy G on the field, man.
Absolutely. So when you came in, AC, we were talking about the Jets and Cowboys, our pick'ems. Let's get back to that. I do want you to talk about what you're doing now, your pro sports marketing, as well as the $1 Million Mingle. But we'll get to that after the picks. So what are your thoughts on the Jets Cowboys? Your former favorite team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. Well, obviously we have to be real about this. When you lose Aaron Rodgers, I mean.
Right.
People, they can cake it all day and say, oh man, at the end of the day, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Okay. So that's going to be a tremendous blow. And I definitely see the Cowboys rolling. I just don't think, Wilson is ready. I think the Dallas defense is playing too well right now. And once again, you're talking about their motivation is knocking off both New York teams. I see the Cowboys definitely. Unfortunately, I think you're going to see the reality of Aaron Rodgers not being there, and this is going to be a perfect test for Cowboys just to close the door on them. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys defense is just going to manhandle. They're just going to give them such a problem. Oh gosh, I kind of feel bad for them because I just had to witness it a week ago. If the Jets want any shot, though, their defense is going to have to keep them in that game, because I do think that you can say the Jets, they got a young defense, right? And they got a lot of young talent. So hopefully their defense will keep them in the game. I obviously don't think so. So I'm going to say the Cowboys win. I think we're looking at maybe another blowout type game.
I agree with you too, Nikki. I think that, I think the Jets defense is definitely good. But like anything else, when you're on the field all day, and your offense is not producing, and it's sad because what I really love about the Jets is their running game.
Yeah.
And about that quarterback stability, now just, it's going to be tough for them. I just see the Cowboys just beating them up. I really do. And I probably see maybe a quarterback change if Wilson it's just not good right now for the Jets, man.
Yeah. Nikki and I talked to that before you were on. We were saying, do you get another QB1 and make Zach Wilson QB2 again? Like, is Wentz coming in? Is Newton coming in? What are your thoughts?
I think that you have to have that insurance policy, and maybe you're hoping that during the short time that Wilson learned a lot in training camp, from Aaron, to where it can carry over, hopefully. But I think as an insurance policy, you have to bring in another veteran quarterback leadership, to either push Wilson to greatness or at least have an insurance policy. I think you're going to need that for sure.
Who do you think would fit in there?
That's a good question, Deb. I would say Colin Kaepernick, but I'm not going to go down that road.
That's what Nikki said.
That's what I said. So I mean, I don't know, right?
I would say this honestly. I would love to see Fitzmagic come back, to be honest with you, man.
It's magic.
Thursday night.
That would be awesome. But I just don't know. I don't know if you trade for Mariota. I don't know if you go after. I just don't know. They're in some trouble, man. I mean, I don't know. I like to see. Mariota. I like to maybe see if they trade for someone. Bringing in the Cam Newton, that's risky. I don't even know who's out there on the market. I know Cam Newton's available. I know that. I think the quarterback from played with the Chargers and the Colts last year. What's his name? That just finished up with the Colts. All-time passer.
Matt Ryan?
Yeah, I think of Ryan. I think.
Matt Ryan. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Well, Deb mentioned Carson Wentz. I mean, would you
He still wants to play. Not my favorite player.
I will tell you this. I will definitely bring in a Carson Wentz. I mean, I will personally pull the trigger on that. Maybe bring back Dan Marino. Shit, I don't know.
Well, I saw on social media today, people are talking about, trying to get Ben Roethlisberger out of retirement and bring him back for the Jets. I mean, I don't know.
Somebody said Tom Brady too.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? It just hit me. So, and I wouldn't even know I think about this, but Colt McCoy. I think Colt McCoy, because he's still fresh and active. Now, I really would bring in Colt McCoy. His leadership, unbelievable, and he's a good guy. And I think that he can be serviceable to at least kind of fill in the gap. I would definitely bring in Colt McCoy for sure.
That's a good point. Okay, so should we just go run the Jets? Should we just tell them we're taking over? We figured it out.
And give us a little 3% kickback on that. But I would really bring in Colt McCoy because I was surprised when the Cardinals let him go, honestly. And Colt McCoy is a good guy. He's a good, manageable quarterback that I think, and he's already proven himself, and I think I would bring him in a heartbeat. Like before,
he played all training camp. He played OTAs. Like he was there.
I would bring him in a heartbeat. Yes, sir.
I agree with you. All right, so I think we all agree that it's going to be a blowout. So
yeah.
So let's move on to our last game: Dolphins versus the Pats. What do you guys think?
I'm going Dolphins, man. I like what the Dolphins are doing. I like the Dolphins. Yeah. What you think, Nick? What you think, Nick?
Yeah, no, I'm going Dolphins. I just want to know how you feel about somebody taking your nickname that's on the Dolphins.
Yes, Tyreek Hill, also the cheetah.
It's like, I look at it like this. It's only one cheetah. That's right here. Okay?
It's just one, right?
Only one cheetah. I paved the way for the little cheetah. You know what I mean? But
baby cheetah.
Baby cheetah. I paved the way, and he don't even have the right color tone. I'm the real cheetah. I got real cheetah marks on my body to prove that I'm the cheetah. So, when you can get that, then get that. But that's real talk. So I know, I was nicknamed from my mom from birth, day one, like that's the little cheetah. So, but no, I'm thankful to have someone representing that brand. And I'm all for every player's learning how to market themselves and be a brand. And even with my sports agency, we tell our players, look, you gotta have a branded name, man. I mean, you gotta have that. And I like what Tyreek is doing, branding himself as the cheetah, and I'm all for that,
Yeah, I definitely think Dolphins take this one. Do you think so, Deb? Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
I think it's going to be a little bit closer of a game than everyone thinks, but I have Dolphins 32, Patriots 29. In history, I mean, Patriots have managed to contain Tyreek Hill. So
were they playing in New England or Miami?
I think they're playing in Miami.
Are they playing in Miami? I definitely, if they playing in Miami, I definitely think they're gonna pull that win out. They're just clicking, man. If the quarterback can stay healthy, I mean they got a good team.
Tua was amazing.
Yeah.
Last game. I mean, what did he throw for? 466 yards and 3 touchdowns.
It's in Foxborough.
Oh, it is. Okay, it's in Foxborough. You're right.
Yeah.
If it's not snowing right now, then they definitely gonna pull it out, man. I believe in Miami, but if that snow kicks in, New England not a player in that snow. I tell you that. I know that for a fact. So if people robbed the Tom Brady tuck rule, well, don't get me started on that. I do have a quick story for you guys, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So we did a big conference here in Arizona, and the first female referee, she was sitting right next to me, and they introduced her, and we talked about the Tom Brady tuck rule. And I said, well, you got to honestly give me your opinion, and Brad, you want to know her opinion. It was a great opinion on what she said about that game, because she started in '96.
Oh wow!
And I think that game we played with New England, I think that was the Tom Brady tuck rule game. I think that was what? Is that 98 or 99? 2000?
I think, right?
Yeah, 98.
Yeah, was it 98? And but yeah, it was a pleasure to see her. And I'd definitely like to get her connected with you guys if you guys ever want to bring her on the show.
Absolutely. Love to talk with her.
She's blowing up. She has a new book that came out, and I told her we're going to support her. Yeah. And she, you talk about history and what she's come through too. But yeah, it was funny talking about that Tom Brady Tuck rule, man.
Did you watch that documentary?
Sweetheart, they robbed us. And I was just talking with Charles at our Raider Alumni Week, and he still say, everybody know Tom fumbled. And he said, Tom still won't admit to me that he fumbled. I'm like, come on, Tom.
Well, and AC, I want to hear about Alumni Week. And you were just honored, weren't you? And you have a brick at Allegiant Stadium now?
Yeah, thank you, man. That's definitely, we all worked hard for that. And they blessed me with my legendary brick. And that's something that I'm so proud to, just the Davis family is I'm telling you, I'm gonna be biased, but even on Alumni Week, I mean, when this man is spending millions of dollars to take care of his alumni players, the best of everything to this day, they just nonstop. They just nonstop taking care of us, man. And to bless me with my legendary brick, man, for my family and children's children and just fans and spectators to be a part of that, it's been a true honor to be recognized, and it's just a great feeling,
Awesome. And what do you have coming up in the next couple weeks and months?
Yeah, well, we're hard at hand, getting ready for the $1 Million Mingle.
Hear about it, November, right?
It's gonna be amazing. So we get bigger and bigger and bigger because we raise more money for charity. We picked up 5 new amazing charities this year,
amazing.
And
what are they?
Yeah, so the charities that we're going to be raising money for is Michelle Cares Foundation, Positivity, which is benefiting adopting dogs with autism. Great story behind the executive director who started her charity. Her son has autism, and he wouldn't just open up to no one. He wasn't doing physical therapy, and she brought this dog into his world, and they just became best friends and just changed life around. So we're going to kick butt for their cause. $1 Million Mingle charities. We became the big brother to other smaller nonprofits around the world who doesn't have a face or a voice for them. We're just rock and rolling. Rising Dream Foundation. But we're going to do 7 events, raise millions of dollars for charity coming November 1st through the 5th, all here in Scottsdale, Arizona, with celebrity charity golf tournament, polo, brunch, VIP parties, business symposium. It's going to be amazing.
It's always a really good time. I attend every year. This one will be my 3rd. So
really? Oh,
it's always
nice.
a great time, and it's obviously for a great cause. Where can our listeners, where can our audience find information about it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. If they want to go to mdmexperience.com, you can log on there. You can always go to Google or YouTube or Instagram, Facebook. But mdmexperience.com. Everything has been live and selling out like crazy. We're thankful and blessed. And then we get ready for Super Bowl, Super Bowl Las Vegas. So, we're excited about that. We got our venues on lock for Vegas already. So we're just rocking and rolling with that. And that's going to allow us, if you don't mind me saying, when we do Super Bowl, we're able to raise money globally because we're bringing in global dollars. So we'll pick, 1 or 2 charities globally, a few charities nationally, and then the rest will be Las Vegas charities that we'll raise money for. But yeah, it's an exciting time coming up.
That's awesome. Well, listen, anything we can do to help support you and the charities, and Deb and I are on it. Blonde Blitz will help you support you. Fantasy Sports Corporation, our platform. We're happy to help promote absolutely anything that you need.
Well, I'll tell you this, guys. We truly appreciate that. We love when Deb and her presence come out. People love her, man. And Nikki, you're part of the family as well. So whenever that time permits, that you can make it out, would love to have you out, especially with Super Bowl. Love to talk about getting you guys.
Absolutely there.
Yes.
Have your show out there live, remote, and we'll love the market and brand promote your show as well. So we're very honored to have this, have you guys creating a platform, for us athletes to be able to talk about, what we're going to do on and off the field. So it's always a great opportunity. So thank you guys for taking the lead and creating something like this. I love it. Love the name. It's awesome.
Oh, yes. It's that's what Deb and I envisioned for the show. Give everybody a space, come and talk about what you're doing, because there's so many athletes and former athletes who do so much off the field that you don't get to hear about, and pulling the women in that have, paved the way for us to be here. So I think it's important. It's a platform that I know her and I have wanted to do for a long time, and we both became available this summer, and this is what we created. Here we are.
And, Deb know me, I'm competitive. Let's take it to the top. Let's get this show, man, continually rated, man, and get you guys to the top with this thing. It's a great ring, a great tone. Love the name, love the co-host. You guys look amazing. And I think, the market, it needs that. It needs personality. It needs separation from all the other shows. So I love it. And anything we can do to keep promoting it, definitely we'll do our part.
Oh, we appreciate that. See, guys, this is how it works. You support each other, you support your friends, you support your family, and that's how you continue to grow and build your network. We thank you guys so much for being with us and hanging out with myself, Deb AC. Please check out his website. We will promote it as well. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on the Fantasy Sports Corporation. And we are out. Deb and I will be back next week to recap week 2 and talk about week 3. And then we'll have another special guest. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Go Giants. Bye.
Bye.